This game literally has no meaning at all for both sides. The Vikings have already clinched the number 6 seed. We have already been eliminated from the playoffs, so this game does not mean anything to either side. But I still hope our Chicago Bears go out there in Minnesota and finish the season off with a dub to conclude our season at 8-8 and avoid a losing record. What's up, guys? I'm back with the Bears prediction videos. This is going to be my final prediction video of the 2019 season, sadly, because we are not making the playoffs, which is something that I had not envisioned going into the season. I thought that these prediction videos would be continuing well into January, maybe even February, but it did not happen because the Bears let us down yet again. So all that aside, guys, if you are actually watching this video right now, this prediction video, I have to tip my hat, I have to tip my beanie off to you guys because you guys are true fans, okay? This game literally has no meaning at all, and you are still here watching this video, watching my predictions. Like, you guys are what makes the Bears fan base so great. So props to all of you guys for actually tuning in week after week, even when we're eliminated, and still, you know, caring about the Bears. I mean, that's mad respect right there. So props to all of you guys that are still going to watch this game. Like I mentioned earlier, the Vikings have already clinched the number 6 seed in the playoffs, and we have already been eliminated. So neither team is really going to be playing for anything in this one. So it might be a snooze fest, but, you know, it's still Bears football, okay? It's the last Bears football game that we're going to see for a long, long time because the NFL offseason is ridiculously long. So I would enjoy this if I were you, even if we don't, you know, even if it doesn't mean anything, right? I still want to see our Bears out there playing good football, winning a game like this, even if it is meaningless. You're probably going to see the Vikings sit a lot of their starters. Maybe not Kirk Cousins, though, because Kirk Cousins did have a really bad game against the Packers in the last week. So maybe they don't want Kirk Cousins to go in the playoffs off of a game like that. So they might get him in there just to give him a little bit more confidence. But guys, knowing our defense and what we usually do to Kirk Cousins, I mean, that might not be a good idea. So whatever the case is, I mean, hopefully our Bears go into Minnesota and finish the season strong, finish with a win. But I'm not going to talk too much. Let me get into the 3 keys to a Bears victory. Key number 1 is to run the football as much as possible. I would imagine in a meaningless game like this, the Vikings star defensive linemen are probably not going to be playing because it doesn't make sense to risk injury for them in a game that literally means nothing. So the D-line of the Vikings is probably going to be a little bit shorthanded. They're probably going to have backups playing. And even when the starters were playing in the game last week against the Packers, they struggled pretty heavily, okay? They allowed Aaron Jones to have over 150 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. So this Vikings run defense has not been good as of late. So hopefully Matt Nagy gets the memo and sticks with the run game throughout the entire game. This should be a game where David Montgomery has at least 20 carries and hopefully around 100 yards if our offensive line decides to block for him, which is one thing I'm kind of worried about because our offensive line has not been that good in run blocking, but we should test that in a game like this against the backups of the Vikings. We should be running the ball as much as possible to hopefully establish some sort of a run game. Key number 2 is to get our tight ends involved early. Matt Nagy's offense functions the best when it has a consistent, dominant tight end that you can rely on, you know, throughout the entire game. Now, that has not been the case throughout the majority of the season because Trey Burton has been injured pretty much every game. Adam Shaheen has been a bust. So we have not had that much production from the tight ends. But lately, you know, Jesper Horsted and J.P. Holtz have been giving us some level of production. Now, in the last game against the Chiefs, they really failed to show up. And also against the Packers, I mean, they were not really involved at all either. So it's really not been, you know, consistent throughout the entire year. But at this point, okay, Jesper and J.P. Holtz are probably the best we got. And if we can involve them early, it's going to make this offense function a lot better. It's going to make it easier for David Montgomery to run the football. It's going to make it easier for Trubisky to complete passes to other receivers. It's going to make the entire offense flow a lot better. And we have seen that, you know, in games against like the Cowboys, for example. So if we can do this, you know, it's going to make it a lot easier to win. And key number 3 is to give our backups a chance to shine. Guys, this is a meaningless football game. It literally means nothing at all. The results of this game are not going to count for anything. So why not give our backups a chance to shine? I so badly want to see Alex Bars in there, a left tackle or wherever he can go, because in the limited time that I have seen him play, he has really impressed me a lot. And maybe the Bears don't think he's ready to be a starter right now, so I understand them maybe not giving him a chance yet. But in a meaningless football game like this, you should have Alex Bars maybe even starting because I want to see what he has. okay, we're definitely going to be changing up this offensive line next year. So why not, test that out right now? Maybe Alex Bars is a long-term option, at maybe left tackle or maybe just inside a guard, okay? We don't know that yet, but maybe he is. And if you look all across the board at other positions, I mean, maybe Kevin Tolliver can replace Prince MONTGOMERY next year because he's been playing pretty good lately. And you have, backups at all positions that if they are given the chance, maybe they can shine. So in a game like this that means nothing, I want to see Matt Nagy give the backups a chance to prove their worth. So there you have it. Those are my 3 keys to a Bears victory. Now let's get to my score prediction. And I'm picking the Chicago Bears to actually beat the Minnesota Vikings by a score of 24-17 in Minnesota. And the reason I say that, guys, is because, look, the Vikings are not going to be playing that hard, and they're probably going to be sitting a lot of starters, okay? So even if they are a better team on paper than us, I mean, I still think that if we play our starters, I mean, they should be able to dominate against the backups of Minnesota. And even if Kirk Cousins is in there for a while, I mean, he has not done well against this Bears defense. I mean, Khalil Mack has gone to him multiple times. Our pass rush has really made life difficult on him. So it might be a rough day for Kirk Cousins again, however long he is in there. But when you look at the backups that Minnesota is going to be putting in there, I mean, I don't think they stand a chance against the Bears starters. However much you want to shit on the Bears this year, you cannot deny the fact that this Bears, starting lineup still has a lot of elite talent on both sides of the football. So however bad the offensive line has been, however bad our running game has been, I still think that we're going to be able to do a decent job against the backups of Minnesota. And even if their starters are in there, okay, we have played Minnesota tough every single game of Matt Nagy's time in Chicago. In fact, we've beaten them every single time. So Minnesota is not beating us once in Matt Nagy's era in Chicago, and I don't think that's going to change with this game. Trubisky is going to have a pretty good day as well. I think he's going to have a respectable stat line, nothing too special, but he's going to finish the season off on a good note. My prediction for MVP of this game is actually going to David Montgomery, and I say that because, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, the Vikings' run defense is coming off their worst performance of the season against the Packers and Aaron Jones, and being that I think a lot of the starters might be out, I mean, it's going to make it a lot easier for David Montgomery and this running game to have some level of success. I think that Matt Nagy is going to stick with running the football throughout the entire game. He's not going to abandon it at all. And, even though, guys, David Montgomery has been struggling for the majority of the season, I don't think that's due to any fault of his own, because if you look at the offensive line blocking for him, I mean, they never create any holes for him to run through. They never give him any sort of push. So this offensive line has really made life tough on David Montgomery throughout the entire season. But in a game like this where I feel like our offensive line shouldn't have too many problems, knock on wood, because they're going up against backups, I think that David Montgomery should have a pretty decent day. So that's going to wrap up my video. As always, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about this game, if you agree with my predictions, if you disagree, what your predictions are, and what you think the score of the game is going to be. But I just want to end this video by saying that although these weekly prediction videos will be ending for this season, you can obviously expect me to be back next season, okay? I'll be doing this YouTube channel for as long as I can possibly do it, because I love doing this for you guys. I mean, this Bears community that I've helped create, I mean, it's really a special thing to be a part of. So thank you guys for all the support, and I will still be making videos every single week of the off season, just like I did last off season. I think I had around like 1 or 2 videos per week during the off season, so you can expect a lot of speculation videos, free agency prediction videos, highlight videos, just a lot of stuff like that. Okay, it's gonna be a much sadder offseason than last year, because last offseason was pretty much all just hype, okay, being hyped for winning a Super Bowl this year. But this offseason is going to be a lot more somber, a lot more urgent, I feel like, because at this point we need to do something, because we are wasting some of the prime years of Khalil Mack and some of the other stars on our defense. So hopefully we can right the ship in the offseason, but let's finish the season with a dub. Let's finish the season strong. Bear down.